see, as we read a city street, right? As we read a city street, in some ways we read humans, right? At least a percentage of us. So here we have litter baskets, but we have litter next to litter baskets, right? Candy, pops, and wrappers, and whatever people just bought. And it goes like this, hey, whoops, missed. But most, the miss will not double back right and say, I missed, I'll pick it up. Especially if litter is already existing, litter begets litter. So people say, no one else picked it up, why should I? So then we go back the other side over here. And we begin to see the separation occur from, in these areas. It's no coincidence you begin to see the separation, because many times rats will move into a tiny hole somewhere in the curb, excavate the soil out, the whole substructure begins to disassemble and fall apart. Also, no coincidence that there's a sewer close by here. Over time, it's hard to keep up with a big populous city, no matter where it is in the world, that's getting more and more people, and so more and more people, 25% of which litter. The interesting thing as we pass the subway is everybody, the lay person, almost 99% of everyone in the city, when you ask them about where do you think the rats come from, they must be in the subway, right? And you say, why? Why in the subway? Well, because when I'm waiting for my train, I always see them, right? So, and they're down in that deep, dark tunnel and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, the subways are not a major player in rats. They do have rats, but not a major player. So, and while we're here, something that's very cool from a distance here, and that is, notice how the color of the sidewalk changes from this slate gray to this smudgy dark stains right here. And notice, and I'm always trying to teach pest professionals that if you want to really put bait stations and traps or what have you in the right spot, always, at least one of the choices is going to be a corner. Notice all that dark staining in this corner here, that's rats, right? That's not people, that's rats, right? And so all of this is from the grease of their bellies called sebum, and all of that, as they use it night after night after night after night, they stain the sidewalk with their own body grease. If we back up over here, you'll notice same trail. In fact, what you see here, a lot of that, and let me just get over here, right here as an example, starts, a rodent piddles, a rat typically piddles, and then as it moves, it dribbles. And this is where the myth comes from. They don't control their own urine, right? Well, they do control it, and they do have bladders. But the male especially has a special covering over its penis that when it urinates, it marks for pheromones. And that's why you see blob, streak, blob, streak. All of this is blob streaking by rats. I call it piss art. That's what I joke around with. That's what it is in some ways. Notice this, how dark this one is. Holy cow. Very dark. So, any grand city these days, you take them all, New York, Paris, Rome, San Francisco, Seattle, Miami, take them all, and the rats have also, quote, moved in, say, how can we use the city? And they do a great job at it. Here in New York City, our species, joy rat, tends to go down. But, as you know, as a Floridian, in Florida, the roof rack goes up into the pond. Stand here for a second. If you come out at night and you do a rat search safari at night, you'll see some very characteristic things. You'll notice again the litter basket. But then we have our mailboxes. And as the rats emerge from sewers and other areas, if you watch them, they will head for those first. Why? There's a little mini cave there, so they can get below that, hunch down in the shadows, remain unhidden. The hawks, coyotes, owls can't get them. And then they will climb that litter basket, up, in, down, and forge around, come back out, hit the cover first, and then head back home. Very common behavior pattern. It's very similar to birds. If you watch a sparrow, for example, before it comes back to the nest, that's a pre-perch. It lands in a spot to check out, is everything okay before I go back to my nest? So they're keeping an eye on things to make sure everything's safe.